we have the Coke labels facing forward as if we're sponsored.
Are you drinking a Diet Coca-Cola?
It's a Coke Zero because it's what my mom always has at the house, and I didn't feel like buying one myself.
What's the difference?
I think it's supposed to have less sugar, but I'm gonna be so honest, I could not tell you.
Okay.
It tastes like a Coca-Cola to me, so I don't care.
Is it like a stevia Coca-Cola?
It might be. Oh, I gotta see if it
Conspiracy
says now.
theorists say that stevia gives you cancer. I don't know if that's true. So
I thought that was what was ever
that's either
in-
true or misinformation.
I thought that was what was in Diet Coke is what gives you cancer, not Coke Zero. Because I think they're technically different products.
I don't know. Stevia. All I'm talking about is stevia. I'm kind of anti-stevia.
Okay.
And I also drink drinks that definitely have stevia in them.
Okay, so this
we're
is
all
stevia
hypocrites.
extract. So you're right.
Yeah. So I'm drinking something
Cancer.
good, and you're drinking cancer. What a great topic to start off on.
Happy Monday.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello.
We are drinking the Coke.
Yeah.
And it's affecting us
Immediately, right off the bat.
I haven't even taken a sip yet. This is Daniel Lee Hollander, one of our main actors in our 2-person show coming up, Gruesome Playground Injuries.
I'm so excited for this show. We've been just a couple weeks into rehearsals, and it's been such a great process so far.
It's so good. We just had Lexi on the podcast.
Okay, incredible.
And I expect this to be just such a worse episode.
Oh,
than
good.
The Lexi
Yeah.
one. Like, it's just the bar is too high.
My bar is so low. I'm
Right.
going to make it worse.
Great. Okay. Gruesome Playground Injuries. Is this a show that you had heard of before auditioning?
I actually had not. Well, I've heard of it, but I had never read it before auditions.
Fired.
Hey, Jake sent me a copy so I could come into auditions prepped.
Great.
Thankfully, or else I would have been really out of touch with that first.
Yeah, we want to provide info for auditionees.
And so I had heard of it like while I was in college, but I had never experienced it in any way. So it was kind of nice to be able to come in fresh, give it a fresh first read. And it also helps me like put my own spin on everything and not have anything I have to like focus on. Because like people will do like Footloose and they'll think they have to be Kevin Bacon. And no, every artist's interpretation
Or Miles Teller.
You're right.
Oh, no, Miles Teller wasn't the main guy.
He was
though.
Willard in the remake.
He was the part that I remember. I haven't seen that movie in a long time.
I will never get over the fact that they had to make a really drastic casting choice when they were making that remake because they wanted one of the Huffs as either Ren or Ariel.
Okay.
Because they obviously couldn't have both.
Right.
And so
I don't know this story.
Julianne Hough ended up getting the role because
Okay.
Derek Hough had done the stage show in London for a little while. So like he's already done his Footloose era. We'll give it to
So like, okay, so he had been the main guy before.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he did it for like a UK tour or something.
And you're right, they're not going to cast both.
They shouldn't.
Yeah, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's cool. I don't have a lot of Footloose lore.
I know way too much about movies and movie musicals specifically.
Great. Okay, yeah. So we're going to spend the next hour talking about Footloose.
Yes, you're welcome, everyone.
Good old Dennis Quaid as the
I forgot he was the
music-hating reverend.
Wasn't it John Lithgow in the original too?
Yeah.
I mean,
one of John Lithgow's like breakout performances.
Yeah. I love it. And I mean, he became Farquaad from that.
Yeah.
I choose to believe that was the 1-2 step.
No, they're similar.
Yeah.
And now a direct continuation, Dumbledore. Exactly the same as Farquaad.
Yeah.
Daniel Lee Hollander is a local actor. What town are you from?
I live in Volo, but I grew up in Palatine.
Okay. So a little bit closer towards Chicago than we are. We're here in Woodstock, Illinois, where we're doing Gruesome Playground Injuries. And Danny.
You can call me Danny.
Danny.
I go by Daniel professionally because it's my whole name, and I've always enjoed my full name.
Can
but
I
once
call
I get
you
to know
Lee?
someone- You can, but then you're just talking to my relative I'm named after.
Okay. But you included the Lee in your.
I do.
full
I
name.
really enjoy my 3 full name.
Yeah.
I really like how it rolls off the tongue. I think my parents did a really good job. Shout out, Mom and Dad.
Well, I think it sucks. No, it's a great name. I support that choice.
Well, and I like to it gives a little bit of reference to my relative, I don't remember how many greats it is, grandfather, who I'm named after, who actually was a linguist back in the day. And the little fun fact I can always share about him is he helped J.R.R. Tolkien come up with like the Elvish language for Lord of the Rings.
Oh shoot!
Because he was So that's my little like family lore tidbit that I love.
That's incredible. I love Tolkien so much.
I'm so overdue for Lord of the Rings rewatch and to start the TV shows. I think Ring of Power.
Have you watched them at all?
I haven't watched any of the shows, but I've watched through Lord of the Rings once regular, once extended, and The Hobbits once through.
Yeah. I quite like the show. Okay. I know it's got some hate.
But I've heard that, but I don't really understand where that could be coming from.
I think it's quite lovely. I think it captures the essence of the world. Okay. It's a little bit too clean. Like, it's not grimy enough. Mm-hmm. But that's, like, my only real complaint. Okay. I don't remember the actor's name, but he plays Celebrimbor in both seasons. And I think that character alone is one of the best additions to the filmed Tolkienverse ever. I think he's an incredible character. He's not even one of the main characters, but he's incredible. And yeah, I really like that show.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I have to check that out.
They're doing the new movies now too.
Yeah, because they have one. The next one's with like Smeagol, and then I just heard Stephen Colbert's like co-writing a new one as well.
Yeah, and everybody's hating on that now too. Come on,
the man's like one of the biggest Lord of the Rings nerds out there. Let him write his movie.
Everybody is loving on Colbert the second he's fired, and then the second he's decided to go do another thing,
like a passion project.
I think everybody was only excited to see Colbert as long as he stayed in his lane or something. I'm like, get out that lane.
Yeah,
drive
let him do
on
what
the
he wants.
grass on the side of the highway and trail forward, run into a tree. I don't know where the metaphor is going, but
well, like I was just listening to Amy Poehler's podcast this last week. She had Steve Carell on, and she had Stephen Colbert as the first person to like talk about Steve Carell behind his back. Okay, and like they talked about their past back in like Second City. So like let Stephen Colbert. Let him back in a musical theater. Let him do Company again.
Yeah.
Let him do some comedy. Let him do whatever the man wants.
I love his appearance in The Office.
Yeah.
As the a cappella guy. He's great. He's only in it for like 3 minutes, but he's amazing. Ed Helms' greatest rival.
Yes.
Yeah.
Was it Broccoli Rob or something like that?
I think it is. Is it the Ed Helms like... Oh, no. Ed Helms doesn't think that he's Broccoli Rob. He's upset that Broccoli Rob stole, like, his signature song.
Yeah. Yeah, because Broccoli Rob, like, goes back to their college to, like, mentor the a cappella group.
Yeah, Ed Helms is super jealous because his old a cappella mate is, like, living the life by mentoring current college students.
Yeah.
That's the life.
That's the life the man in a paper sales position is jealous of.
Yeah, because all he can talk about is that he went to Cornell.
He loves his voice so much he made it his own ringtone.
Yeah, it's true. What did you go to university?
I did. I went to Western Illinois University for my BFA in musical theater.
Okay.
I know they're just finishing building a new performing arts center at the university, which is really exciting. I know they're really excited for what that's going to do. I enjoyed my time there. I made some really good friends out in school. It got me some great connections. It got me my first job, summer theater job, was some of my connections out there.
What was that?
I did a show called Shaboom, Life Could Be a Dream, which is a fun 1950s jukebox show. Nice. And I did it out in North Dakota in a small town called New Rockford. Shout out DPRCA. Love you, Elliot.
New Rockford.
In New Rockford. Not to be confused with Rockford, Illinois.
Okay. Okay.
And it was super fun. It was a cast of 5, and 4 of us were from my college. So we all came in knowing each other ahead of time, and we just had to make sure one more person like gelled with the rest of us, and it all ended up working out really well. We played a D&D campaign with our director on our off nights. It was super fun.
Nice. Oh, I love D&D.
It's so fun. I got to DM my first campaign. I haven't played in a little while because there was a time when I wasn't sure how long I was going to be staying at home, because through most of my early 20s, I was moving so much from job to job because I was working and getting housed locally throughout North Dakota, Ohio, and Indiana.
Okay.
So I had a hard time like sitting down and setting up a campaign anywhere. I got to DM my first campaign was the last one I did, which I did my second year in Ohio with some of my castmates.
Was that a one-shot or like an extensive thing?
We did, I want to say it was like a 7-8 session campaign.
That's a good length.
It was fun.
Yeah.
And it got to be really like cathartic for me. I got to bring in one of my characters from a different campaign to like universe jump into this one and kind of bond my players because they were trying to rescue him from this evil deity or something.
There's a certain beauty in being able to like interconnect campaigns, but it's only for the DM.
Exactly.
Like you don't need to tell everybody. I mean, sometimes you can tell people that, but it's only really making a big impact on the DM.
Exactly.
And that's good enough for me. I have crossover between everything I DM, as long as it's something that I was making. If I'm doing like a pre-written one-shot or something, I'll let it be separate. But anytime I DM like an extensive campaign, I put it in the same world that I've been world building for a while now.
Oh, that's great.
And so like I'll have a fleshed out village and then someone will travel through that village and I'll just be able to like have them like I'll even update what's gone on since the last campaign that went on there, and I'll like update the characters and like where's their journey led, and I won't tell the players any of it. It's just for me to like world build.
Yeah.
Maybe someday I'll write a book and 18 people will read it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because like I feel like since as DMs, you have to put in so much extra work and creativity behind the scenes. Sometimes you do just have to throw in these little tidbits that are just for you. Whether or not anyone else will ever notice it doesn't matter, because as long as it's bringing you joy and therefore you can send that joy to your players, that's how it becomes full circle.
There's nothing lovelier than when a player rolls a perfect 20 on like a lore check on something that you spent so much time working on.
Yep.
And usually the lore check, if they're checking for lore and they're like trying to learn the background of something, it's something I haven't thought about for a second
at all.
And I'm just making up crap on the fly. Like, sure, this is new lore. But then that rare occasion where they like are like, hey, what's the background on this thing? Let me tell you.
Yeah, well, it's the like 180 inverse of like when you have a combat encounter perfectly planned out and they choose to just go in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
And so you're like, well, I have to just make up the rest of this session on the fly. Let's ride this out.
But that's where it comes in handy to recycle things that you had prepped in previous sessions that never got to use. It's all recycling and like reusing. So everything I prep gets used eventually.
Yeah.
And I don't tell any of them any of it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's for you.
It's great. You should do more DM. I could imagine you being a really good dungeon master.
Well, and I think being a DM is also like one of the greatest acting improv exercises you can ever do.
Yeah.
Because there is no ability for you to go no but. You have to always be able to say yes and make something work. And it's outside of the realm of like reality, so you don't have to really confine yourself. So that yes and can go a million different places.
Our director of our current show, Jake Heline, he's just one of the most frustrating players in D&D, but I need him in the campaigns. He like brings life to it.
Yeah.
Because he's so unpredictable.
Okay.
And will never do things the quote unquote right way.
Okay, yeah.
He'll just make something up or take a path that I didn't think of, or he'll randomly introduce new lore himself, and then I have to just make it work.
Yeah.
I mean, usually the lore he's introducing is like very real world things that he's like infusing into fantasy, and I'm like, sure, yeah, you guys have iPads.
Yeah.
Right, okay, they're not the kind of iPads you'd think. And then he's like, no, it is the kind of iPad you'd think. I'm like, great, okay. He is the perfect example of no of an actor saying no, but and that's always funnier, and I think very few people can get away with that.
Yeah.
Usually I'm right there with you. Everything needs to be yes and continue on to the bit, help the other players, but if you're that funny, then do whatever you want. I don't care.
Well, I mean, and like with acting, all rules that are heavily established are meant to be able to bend every once in a while, especially in D&D, the rule of cool, and in comedy, the rule of funny. There are always the opportunities for the perfect reason to break some kind of traditional rule.
Yeah.
And I think like that's why breaking the fourth wall in theater is also so interesting, is it does break that norm that has been so established and then be like, hey, but actually... And that brings the audience closer in.
It also doesn't need to be explained.
Yes.
Shakespeare never explained it.
No, it's just a thing that happens, and we all accept it.
Yeah. I love every monologue is either delivered to God or like the universe, to yourself, or to the audience.
Yeah.
And I love that. I think that's incredible. And I think it's very accurate in 99% of scenarios that it's always one of those three.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm the type that feels the need to explain it.
Okay.
I'm like, well, here's the mechanics of how they're doing it.
Yeah.
But it's unnecessary.
Yeah.
So you did a summer... your first professional gig was a summer theater job.
Yeah, so it was... we rehearsed for a month. We ran for, I think it was a month and a half. And that was the whole summer. It was a lot of fun. And then I went back to school. That was between my... was that junior and senior year already? Yeah, that had to have been.
It was middle of college.
Because the summer after my sophomore year was COVID, so everything kind of fell by the wayside in terms of like professional gigs and everything.
Yeah.
I was really lucky that there were a lot of like Zoom rehearsals and like workshops that I could be a part of during that time. So I got to learn a lot during the time and kind of learn how to like really make self-tapes work. And help teach my teachers how self-tapes need to work in the modern age.
I hate self-tapes.
They can be the worst. And so I've instituted a rule whenever I'm self-taping, and most of the time when I'm helping a friend self-tape, because I love to be able to help my friends out. I love coaching actors. I think it's one of the most fun things to do, and I fell in love with that in college. But I always try to stick to 3 full takes, and then you're done. Because if you need to do more takes than that, you're either... just picking apart your performance micro bit by micro bit. You're going to get in your head, so it will never get better than those 3 takes, or you don't know the material well enough to have done it in 3 takes, and you need to step away and come back another day.
Yeah, I almost only ever have used one of those first takes. Sometimes I'll hate the first take, and then I'll do 7 more takes, and then I'm like, the first one is by far the most natural.
Yeah.
I no longer then care about the little things that bugged me. Instead, I just see, like, oh, that was by far the most natural take.
Yeah.
Go with that one.
Well, and I always love, on the 3rd and final take, I always love to challenge the people I'm working with and be like, all right, I know you've done all this prep. Throw it away and just try to have fun with the material and see if anything comes naturally to you.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, they end up going with that one because instead of doing something they've prepared, it becomes natural again.
Yeah.
And I think it's so important to remind people, especially in an audition sense, because people get so focused on this has to be perfect, this has to be perfect. No, it has to be real. And I think because if they want something different, most times they can get that in a callback. They can get that in the rehearsal room if they need to, but they need to see that you can work with the material first, and they need to like get a sense of what you are as an actor. You need to take some big swings and not play it too safe. You need to be able to really delve into the craft of it and not focus on, well, is this what they're going to like, but rather, is this what I feel comfortable performing? This is what I bring out in this character.
There's a complicated connective tissue between stage acting and film acting, and self-tapes bring the two together in ways that make me very uncomfortable.
Okay.
I see the value in it. I do. I see the value in casting a production using self-tapes, but where do you see that difficulty in, like, you're filming something, but you're doing stage acting? But also you want to have subtleties still. You don't want to be this over-the-top, always Broadway level like performance. Like the subtleties are important at the same time.
Yeah, I think you make a really good point in that it's the difficulty of trying to find the balance, because you're not at that point you're not trying to fit either film or theater. You are trying to blend the two, and that's why I also think it's really important, having never directed a show, but in theory, if I were directing a show and I had to do self-tapes for an initial round of auditions, I wouldn't feel comfortable solely casting on those.
Yeah.
I would want to bring in-person callbacks so I can get a feel for how people are in the room, for how they actually interact with other people, because I think Zoom callbacks can be one of the most frustrating things as a performer, especially, heaven forbid, if your internet's acting up or if something technologically goes sideways. I think there's just too many things that can go wrong in a callback sense with technology like that. I will always prefer an in-person callback. And I'd prefer an in-person audition as well, but I understand, especially for people who are sending across the country for like summer stocks, it's obviously not plausible. And I think that is one of the good things about the integration of self-tapes, is that companies are able to see more people. Whether or not that overwhelms the companies, I'm sure, can be a whole other conversation. But yeah, I think it's really difficult to find the balance between making big theatrical choices but keeping it within the camera lens is the biggest difference between an in-person audition and a self-tape for theater. Because, there has to be more subtleties behind everything, including like even every different spot you're looking at. Because then it's so much easier to see that on a camera lens where you're seeing it on a computer.
I suppose that's one benefit to it. Is it forces it. It's harder, I would argue, to make a self-tape good than it is to make an in-person audition good.
I agree.
Because it's just right on you, and also there's no movement usually, so you're trapped a little bit in a box. But you're trying to do the stage performance. So I in some ways I see the benefit. Like, it kind of narrows out a lot of people, but it lets you see a lot more people. It lets you find really easily what it is you do and don't look for out of those auditions, which I think in the grand scheme of things over time is going to be really beneficial to these companies. I imagine that immediately post-COVID it was very overwhelming because there were so many more submissions all of a sudden. Well, I'll tell you, I'll bring up one kind of submission from Silverstage experiences that I want every actor to stop doing.
Oh no. Okay.
Sending in clips from your shows as your audition.
Oh, interesting.
Like, someone sends in an audition, but it's just
like a reel? It's
just a clip from one of their past performances.
Okay.
And I'm like, I don't want to see your polished performance after 3 months of rehearsals. I want to see you right now, like, authentically tackling something new.
Okay.
Spontaneously. Because that's the process you're walking into. I'm not expecting someone to walk in with a polished performance. I'm expecting someone to walk in ready to collaborate. So it's right off the bat like a bit of a wall that gets put up.
I haven't experienced that. I've seen people who like send in an audition, which is a fresh take, and like a side with their reels of like dancing and vocals of performances.
Sure.
I understand it as supplementary, but I've never seen someone just send that as the audition.
No, I'm not against reels. That it's helpful. It's helpful to see that. But it is supplementary. Like you just used. It's not personal, it's not present. I also struggle with people sending in tapes that are old. But that I'm more accepting of, especially if it's a last-minute audition. Casting through video is really hard. Jake and I both have casted multiple times with self-tapes involved. And we have casted people that sent in self-tapes.
Okay.
And so I'm not against it. It's just, it is difficult. And in-person is always preferred, but I don't want to exclude people because I know situations arise.
Well, and I feel like that is the like inclusivity that's come post-COVID to the theater community as a whole. There are other things that have happened post-COVID that I don't have such great views on. Like, I don't love how equity the Actors Union decided to kind of open its doors if you pay to play instead of doing like the equity membership candidacy of the past.
What is pay to play?
So that's not what it's actually called, but after COVID, because their numbers went down because there were issues with things happening during the pandemic, they decided to introduce a way for young and I suppose older actors as well to pay an outright fee to join the union and then be able to be seen in equity calls and everything instead of having to like earn the status like they had to in the past. And in order to do that, they also got rid of the equity membership candidacy, which was a way you could get your foot in the door at equity auditions with a card by having worked with an equity theater, and they'll give you points towards your card where you'll eventually earn it.
Okay.
But instead now there was the availability to just pay your way in and then go to these auditions whether you were ready or not.
Yeah.
And I think that ended up hurting a lot of young actors who were like, oh, well, this is so much easier. I'll just send in frankly, I think slightly ridiculous amount of money, because I think it was like $2,500 to $3,000 or $2,500 to $3,000 plus the union dues right off the bat to join, and then try to get work. Because then once you're union, you can't do non-union work without explicit approval from the union. As one of the ways they try to keep people doing union jobs.
Can you imagine a director hiring someone based off how much money that actor pays them?
It's crazy. And like it's how I also have issues with like how Hollywood's like, well, we can't hire you unless you have X amount of Instagram followers. And I'm like, that's not how art is created. That's how money might be made, depending on if their following actually turns out for the movie or not. Yeah. But I think I think there's too many like Excel spreadsheets happening behind the scenes in a lot of like the bigger budgeted theater and arts out there.
I mean, if I started tackling things the same way that these people are tackling that you're describing, I wouldn't be doing any of the shows that we're doing. Yeah. I mean, the last several shows we did, starting with No Exit, a Jean-Paul Sartre 1940s play, and A Doll's House, an 1800s Henry Gibson play, Betrayal, a Harold Pinter classic from the 70s, and now Gruesome Playground Injuries. All amazing theater.
Yeah.
And I'm so proud of everything that the performers have done in all these shows, that our directors have done, like incredible work. How could I take that away because I'm afraid of ticket numbers?
Yeah.
Like this can't be just a one-way street. Like only picking shows based off what's going to sell. How about I take a little bit of accountability and work to sell the show?
Yeah. Well, and I think that also is something that a few regional theaters, more non-union than union theaters I've seen, have issues of. They trust that the shows themselves are going to sell their tickets, so they don't try to do anything marketing-wise.
Yeah.
And I think that's just shooting themselves in the foot, because even well-known, well-regarded shows still need to be advertised, because people need to know they're happening so that they can go see one of their favorite shows if they want to.
Yeah. Or
they can be introduced to a new piece that they may be interested in the concept of.
People have talked about, like, why do movie posters suck right now? They're awful. Most movie posters are horrible.
Well, it's all just the floating heads these days.
It's all the floating heads. It's who your star. But that's not a new concept. The movie star is not a new concept. Movie stars have always been part of what sells a movie. And yet those posters have changed tremendously, because now it's exactly what you're describing. It's, well, what original ingredients do we have that are automatically going to sell so that we don't have to put in the work? That's how I'm seeing it. I'm like, or like, show off your craft. Look at the Indiana Jones films. Look at those poster designs.
I love those.
Do you think people would have gone just by selling it as the star of Star Wars, Harrison Ford, with like just a picture of Harrison Ford just staring forward in like a hat? Like, no, instead they create art. So already when you see the poster, you're already getting a piece of the art.
Exactly.
Before you've even seen it. That's now part of the experience rather than just a preview.
Well, and I think that's also one of my big issues with modern movie trailers is they refuse to use it as like a tease to what the movie is. They always just want to try to sell the whole movie. There's so many movies I've seen in the past couple of years where I'm like, oh, I just watched the trailer and I've watched the entire movie now. Yeah. And I've probably watched some of the best scenes of the movie. I think it's also really telling in like a horror movie trailer, which I love horror. I'm all for horror of varying budgets, of varying subgenres. I love it as a whole industry. But there are so many different ones that are like, oh, that's going to be the big scare of the movie that they just wasted in the trailer.
Rather than what you're describing with the tease is instead of showing the movie and marketing that, hey, come see this movie. Mm-hmm. Instead, the experience has already begun the second you watch the trailer. Remember that Force Awakens trailer? The first teaser of the desert and Finn just pops into view as the stormtrooper sweating in the desert. He's looking around, and already we're locked in.
And frankly, that's all I needed.
It's a small clip. It got me in the theater. I mean, I was going to be in the theater at Star Wars, but the point still stands. Like, they didn't need to sell me on every scene of the film or even the plot of the film. Yeah, sell me on a moment.
Sell me on a moment. Sell me on a concept. Yeah. I remember a couple years ago there was a horror movie called Companion. With Jack Quaid and Sophie Thatcher as the two leads. And I'm sorry to the audience who may not have heard of it. I'm going to spoil a part of it, but the trailer did too. The first trailer I saw was just of this girl in like a trance and her holding her arm out, and someone put a candle underneath it, and it pans to her face, and she just has a tear rolling down. Yeah. And that was the only scene. And I was like, I am so intrigued by this movie. Yeah. And I don't want to know anything else. And then I saw another movie a couple months later, I think, and I saw a full trailer which reveals that like she's a companion robot.
Oh, sure.
And I was like, I kind of wish I could have found that out like the 25 minutes into the movie when it was revealed. Because up until then, it's just played as like a rom-com of these couples getting together and going to this retreat. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Jack Quaid's character turns to her and goes, shut off, and her eyes go dark. And I'm like, that would have been so much more effective if I didn't know about that going into it.
Yeah. It's also a tough game. Yeah. I mean, there's no easy answers to any of this.
Well, and there's so many movies that come out between Hollywood and all the streaming services these days as well. So there's just such a saturation of the market as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And man, there are just too many streaming services these days.
They're getting lesser now. They're getting less and less because they're all merging.
Because they're all combining.
They're all combining. It's all monopolizing. But I mean, did Paramount eventually buy Netflix? Has that gone through yet? I don't know.
They're in the process of trying to buy Warner Brothers.
Oh yeah, sorry, yes. Netflix tried buying Warner Brothers, and then I guess Netflix has backed out officially, I think.
Yeah, because Paramount, after Netflix got the official okay from Warner Brothers to give their bid, Paramount just kept sending better and slowly better and better bids to be like, hey, we're still here. Yeah. And then eventually Warner Brothers was like, well, we kind of like this offer better. Netflix, do you want to do anything better? And they were like, no. And so Warner Brothers decided to go with Paramount. And granted, honestly, I don't like to give the Netflix CEO too much cred because I don't like what he's done with that company. But I have to give him a little bit of cred because in his initial bid, he got like a payout if Warner Brothers decided to go with Paramount instead by the end. Okay. So Netflix ended up making money out of this deal, even without getting the ownership of Warner Brothers.
Yeah. Wait, sorry. Does Netflix have a streaming service? I've just been renting.
You've still been renting the DVDs?
I've just been renting DVDs. Is that not? Are people doing more?
I honestly wish there were still places to rent DVDs because I'm such a big.
It's called the library.
It's true. That's true. And I do need to go out to my library more. But I'm a big physical media person.
Yeah, me too.
I love collecting DVDs. I own probably too many at this point. Yeah. But again, like heaven forbid, if the internet goes out for an extended period of time, I can still watch what I want to watch without having to worry about it. Yep. And buying a DVD firsthand, I like to give the people who made these movies that I truly love. Like Sinners came out last year. The first day it was out on DVD, I ran out to the store to buy it.
So I'm pretty much only buying. I've become a prude. I'm just buying like Criterion releases or like I found this I found this like special edition of Master and Commander that I had never seen before, and it's got all the, it's got all the fun little like booklet and the various bonus features, and this is my happy place.
Yeah.
I'm just at home like binging bonus features of like DVDs. I found this Titus DVD that's like have you ever seen the movie Titus?
I haven't.
Anthony Hopkins in Shakespeare, and it's from Julie Taymor, who did like.
I love Julie Taymor.
Julie Taymor is amazing. Lion King on Broadway,
Yeah.
Spider-Man on
One of the versions of Spider-Man on Broadway,
which is not her high point. But this Titus movie, insane.
Okay.
The most bonkers, high on acid Shakespeare adaptation I've ever seen.
Incredible.
Do you have Criterion Collection movies at all?
I don't think I have any. I've seen a couple around. I love to go to like a Half Price Books is one of my favorite places, especially if I'm buying something that's been out for a while and I know no one who worked on that movie is actually getting anything out of a first-hand purchase. So I'll buy they have like $2 clearance DVDs most of the time.
Yeah.
And I love bulking up my collection with little things I'll find there. Like I think I found like the Spider-Man trilogy with Tobey Maguire directed by Sam Raimi for $2, and I was like, I'm buying this.
Yeah.
'Cause I love these movies. I grew up on these movies.
Yeah. That's fun. I share a experience somewhat similar to what you shared, which is that your first professional gig being the summer kind of theater gig. My first professional gig was this like summer little theater gig where I went and worked at a camp as an actor. So this was like a camp that did a lot more than, it wasn't a theater camp for kids, but it was like a camp where they hired 3 actors every year. And the 3 actors did all the stage stuff, and it was like this big stage experience. They did like concerts and stuff. It was a weird camp.
Okay.
But I was so excited I got hired, and I spent these 3 months just on the road, like traveling across the country.
I
with
love
this
that.
camp, and it was like my first paid acting gig straight out of college. It was so fun. What has been what was after your summer gig?
So after my summer gig, I was finishing up school, and I actually left school early for my first post-collegiate gig. I was doing Amish theater out in Ohio.
Sure, that's a thing.
Which is, no one just off the bat knows about that, I feel like. I didn't know about that until I was doing UPDAs that year, which is one of those big cattle calls, which went virtual because it was still early post-COVID. But so I got an offer from this group to be like, hey, do you want to come out to Ohio for 6 months to do a show called Josiah for President about an Amish man who becomes president?
And this is made by Amish people?
This is in fact not. But
what are you talking about? What are we talking about right now?
So this is a company called Blue Gate Musicals.
I know what you're talking about.
Which you may have heard of.
I've heard of Blue. I've auditioned for Blue Gate.
Have you really?
Yeah.
Because
they didn't cast me.
But so I got introduced. At the time I worked there, they had 3 venues because they had the one in Shipshewana, Indiana, which most people around here might know more of.
I think that's probably what I auditioned for.
I was in Sugar Creek, Ohio, and they have one in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. As of now, they have 2 of those locations left. I stuck around to see the end of the Ohio location.
Gotcha.
Because I did 1 year there doing Josiah for 6 months, which is it's a long time to do one show. And that's where I'll leave that. And then they brought me back the next year to do a different show called Dear Soldier Boy for 6 months, and then do their Christmas show for, I think it was
Are these
2
original
months.
shows?
These are all original, written by the books are written by an author who does like Amish novels.
Yeah.
So I did get to meet her a couple times. I believe her name was Martha Bolton. And then
such a bizarre piece of American theater.
Oh yeah, well, and they have a big back catalog as well of things, and like I got to meet the producer who also worked on the music. He was based out of like Nashville, Tennessee, so he had a bunch of like Nashville musician connections that would record the tracks for us.
Yeah.
Dear Soldier Boy, we were the second location to do that show. That was premiering when I was working in Ohio the first time. It was premiering in Indiana, and I had a friend in it, so I kind of got to hear a little bit about it before I did it. And my second year there, they had me be the cast manager for the location because between my first year and my second year there was some shifting around going on in the upper management of the company.
The cast manager? You didn't cast me.
I was not involved with that. That was the casting director.
I have beef with you specifically.
Hey, listen, I was just in charge of making sure my show ran on time.
I emailed you personally.
That would be wild if live on the podcast we found out.
Yeah. That you sent me a hateful email being like, actually
no.
was disturbed by your audition that you sent in. It does not capture the Amish spirit.
Well, and what's so fun is that in all these shows, at least in the shows I did, there was between 1 and 3 Amish characters in each of the shows.
Okay.
Everyone else is non-Amish. My first show, I was 22 years old and playing a 55-year-old congressman.
Amazing.
So every night before I went out there, I was graying my goatee and my hair, which was an experience right at 22.
It doesn't strike me as a company that's not casting age appropriate.
Well, what was wild was that first show I did, our oldest cast member was our cast manager at the time, who I believe was in his mid-30s.
Okay.
Everyone else was between I was one of the younger ones at 22, and it spanned in that range.
Gotcha.
And in more recent years, I think they have started to cast a little bit more age appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they tend to cast a little bit younger overall.
It's been my favorite part of being outside of educational theater is being able to cast
appropriately
accurate ages.
Yeah.
I mean, we did Much Ado About Nothing last year, and I got to cast our Scott Purdy. Do you know Scott Purdy? He's this big.
I don't think I do.
He's this big time local actor guy. He's in a million shows.
Okay.
He's a professional Santa Claus.
I love that.
And he does hundreds of Santa gigs every year.
Okay.
And I locked him in, and I was so excited. He's got this big beard. He's kind of older, and I got him to be our Leonardo, and it was like, yes. Stephen Pickering came on board as our Dogberry, and Derek L. Cook, and I'm like, if I cast these characters with my buddies, there's so much I could have missed out on.
Yeah.
And it's not against the talent of other people I could have cast. It's just there's something precious about it being that closer to reality. If someone's in their 50s, maybe cast someone in their 50s.
Yeah. Right? Well, that was one of my things I did really enjoy in college was The Show That Never Was, which was my sophomore year. We were doing Richard II, which was involved with...
Richard II was your COVID shutdown show?
Yep.
Everybody's got one.
Yeah, mine was Richard II. We were supposed to come back from spring break and go straight into tech.
That's such a good show. I love Richard II.
It's so good. Oh, and it was a couple of our grad students' thesis shows as well.
Yeah.
And so I kind of lucked out that we had a good chunk of grad students in this show. So we also had a little bit more varying of ages. But so I got to have one of my favorite days of rehearsal in my entire collegiate experience was just a day where me and this other actor, his name is Chad, and our director, Hadley, were just having a conversation about how the Duke of York and his brother interact in the one scene in early Act 2 right before York passes away.
Okay.
Because I was playing York way too young.
You were playing York?
I was playing York.
He's I think Patrick Stewart played York in the
Oh, I think you're right.
In the Hollow Crown TV series. Which he was fantastic as York. I take back everything I said. I'm sure you were great York.
Yeah. Well, we'll never know. I never performed.
It was educational theater. So wait, okay, you were playing York. Wait a minute. Wait.
We have the text right here.
Wait a minute. Wait, you said end of Act 2?
I think it was Act 2, Scene 1.
Act 2, Scene 1. Let's see if I can find... Oh.
Let's see if I remember what I'm talking about 6 years later.
I'm trying to find anything with... Oh, I'm not in the right... Okay.
I say, because the beginning of the scene is just York and his brother, and then Richard comes in and York is like, hey, you suck. I'm going to go die off stage now.
Yeah. Oh, I love this place so much. Can you give us a monologue?
If I were to remember it, I would love to, but I don't.
Found one. I found a York monologue. Do you want to butcher some Shakespeare live?
On camera? No,
yeah.
I think I'm okay, but thank you. Thanks for the offer.
Oh, this is such a good show. That's fun. I mean, it's sad that got canceled.
And it was really also really nice that it is my show that ended up being canceled because the professor who was directing it was really invested in exploring the vision despite the fact we never performed. So there was an entire website created where she would talk about the rehearsal process, what the designs were, what the plans for the performance were. And it was all very interesting to see both as
this was after it got shut down?
This was after it got shut down because
Gotcha. Cool.
Since when we made the final call of we're not coming back, we won't be able to perform this, she wanted to still, and in order to let the grad students graduate with their theses, they had to have something put together. And I think it was a really good way of honoring the work we had done, despite the fact we never got to finalize everything.
Yeah.
And it kind of helped all of us put it to bed and be like, all right, we have some sort of closure to this now.
Yeah.
Because it is so sad at that time with how many things everywhere just ended up not finishing.
Mine was Radium Girls.
Oh, I love that show.
And I was a big character too. Oh, so sad. I was playing 4 or 5 characters. I was playing the main boyfriend.
Oh yeah.
And a dentist, and one of the main doctors. Oh, and the main reporter. I was playing the reporter, which that was by far the most fun part of the whole thing. And I was breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah.
And we were doing it in the round. And it was or we were doing a thrust. It was audience on 3 sides. And it got canceled, and we were just devastated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the show, on the inverse of that, the show I'm really glad ended up getting canceled at my school.
Okay.
Because it was supposed to happen in the fall of 2020, and we ended up just reworking that whole season, was we were supposed to do Dogfight, which is a great musical. I love it. It's one of Pasek and Paul's early shows with Derek Klena, Lindsay Mendez as 2 of the leads in it, all about... during the, I believe it's Vietnam War, it's these soldiers out for their last couple days before they get shipped out. And the dogfight itself is a really messed up concept where all these Marines have to bring a date to this event, and whoever has the ugliest girl wins the money they've all pooled in, which is really messed up.
So good play, not great execution. Good to get canceled.
Well, the reason I'm glad it was canceled is I was convinced it was going to start a civil war in our theater department between the musical theater tenors on who got the main role. And I was really afraid of what that was going to do to everyone's relationship with each other. And I think it would have been a really interesting show. I know our director had plans with us to talk with the Veterans Association through the university to have conversations, because it deals with the post-war survivor's guilt as well for one of the characters, which is one of the last songs of the show. And it's truly heartbreaking because he's like, why did all my friends die in front of me and I'm still here and I'm sad about it, which is a horrible place to be at in life.
Very Marius. Les Mis. Yeah.
So I really enjoy the show. I'd love to. I don't see it done very often, and I'd love to see.
I've never even heard of it.
I'd love to see people do it again with a very gentle handling, because it is some choice subject matter, I suppose. But yeah, it's not done very often, I don't think, these days. And I understand
they
why.
did Dear Evan Hansen, yeah?
Yeah.
Did they do a lot of shows before they got big time?
They did a couple. They did a song cycle, and then Greatest Showman, I think, was right before Dear Evan Hansen.
Do you like Greatest Showman?
I don't think I've ever actually watched the entire thing front to back.
Okay.
I think it's fine.
It's got a couple bangers.
It does.
It's some really good songs.
I do feel a little bad for Jeremy Jordan, which is something you will not hear me say often.
Because of the famous YouTube video where he got shut down and Hugh Jackman started singing over him.
Well, and yeah, it's that really brutal one. And he was supposed to be Zac Efron's role in the show, in the movie. And then they were like, oh, well, we have Zac Efron with name. We're gonna bring him in instead.
Yeah.
And that's what actually led into that concert, because Jeremy Jordan was still around and Hugh Jackman was having some vocal issues. So he was like, oh, I can sing this for today before I step away from the project. And then Hugh Jackman decides to sing anyway.
No, I got it. You can step back.
And I'm like, I do feel a little bad for the guy
Jeremy
at that
Jordan.
point.
This might be a hot take.
Okay.
I think Jeremy's fine.
I think he's very good at what he does.
Yeah.
I just don't think there's
I
a
meant
lot of
like he's gonna be okay.
Oh yeah.
I think that one didn't knock him down too hard. He's not like the most incredible actor ever.
No, and he has a great voice, but I don't find him the most I don't know how to phrase this, but I find him to be kind of one note a good chunk of the time. And I do feel a little bad because that was in an era where he was kind of getting a lot of hits, which kind of knocked him down for a little while. Because like Bonnie and Clyde didn't do very well post Newsies. He did the pre-Broadway for Finding Neverland, and then didn't get chosen to be picked up for the Broadway run. They brought Matthew Morrison in instead.
Did Gatsby do well?
Gatsby, I think, has done well. He's been able to go back there a couple times. Okay. I know he, ironically now, is going to be taking over once Matthew Morrison leaves just in time, which he's just now taking over for Jonathan Groff, having just finished his run.
Okay.
I think Matthew Morrison's only doing it for like 3 weeks to span the time between Jonathan leaving and Jeremy being able to start.
Guess my introduction to Jeremy Jordan.
Is it going to be, what was that movie? Is it Joyful Noise where he was in it?
Is he in that?
I think he's
no,
in
it's
that
not that. I've never seen it. I know exactly what you're talking about. It's not Joyful Noise. No, my introduction to Jeremy Jordan, I had no idea he was a singer.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea. I didn't grow up on like Broadway musicals that much.
Okay.
Supergirl.
I forgot he was in Supergirl.
Yeah, he's like one of the main characters of Supergirl. And he's really good in it. I watched one episode of Supergirl forever ago when it first came out. Mm-hmm. My dad and I watched it, and we just laughed at it the whole episode. We were like, this is the dumbest, stupidest thing I've ever watched. It's the cheesiest nonsense. The special effects were horrible.
I was like, that was like peak CW superhero show era.
3 years later, I watched it again because I was watching a lot of Arrowverse stuff. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh... It's just charming.
Yeah.
It's just like delightful nonsense. Mm-hmm. And I, for some reason, locked in. And I watched like the whole first season. Mm-hmm. And for some reason, I was like, I know this isn't good most of the time, but I'm loving every choice they're making.
Yes.
It's just too innocent and delightful to hate.
Yeah.
And I hated that I hated it.
Yeah.
What are your top 5 musicals?
Okay. Oh, we're asking the real questions now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the one I'd be remiss if I don't mention is going to be Sweeney Todd. I think, this is my weird hot take, I think that's the best Sondheim show in a list of
5
great
best musicals
shows.
and best iterations.
Oh, okay. This one I have one, and I'm glad we're starting with this one then. Sweeney Todd. I love the filmed on tour pro shot from 1982 with George Hearn and Angela Lansbury. Yeah. A fantastic production. I cannot stand the Antony in it, but that's fine. We'll work around it.
Wait, which character is Antony?
He's the sailor who's in love with Joanna, and he looks a little funky in that one.
Okay.
And
wait, isn't that Victor Garber?
It wasn't the original production.
Oh, but not in this filmed version.
The filmed version was when they took it on tour, so it also wasn't the original Sweeney. It was the original tour Sweeney.
Gotcha.
Because the original Sweeney Todd was Len Carew?
Yeah.
I don't remember how to
Oh,
pronounce
you're
his
right.
name.
Okay, I do know what you're talking about. Yeah,
but
I love Angela Lansbury.
They toured with it, so they still filmed it.
Okay, gotcha.
I love that production. Oh... I mean, I love West Side Story. I feel like it's kind of a cop-out answer because it's one of the, like, classic musicals.
And then like the 50s movie.
I love the 50s movie. My favorite iteration of it though is the 2009 revival, which Lin-Manuel Miranda actually helped with.
Okay.
Because in that production, whenever the Jets and Sharks sing in the same song, the Jets are singing in English and the Sharks are singing it in Spanish.
Oh, interesting.
And I love the inclusivity of the bilingual aspect of it.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping it was going to show up in the Spielberg movie, and it was a little sad it didn't, but that was all right.
The movie did some things great.
And it sure did cast Ansel Elgort in a role he shouldn't be trying to sing.
It did some things great. It did some things not so great. Rachel Zegler is so incredible in that film.
She's making her way to many, many awards in the future.
Yeah.
Assuming she doesn't do too many more Shazam 2s.
Assuming she also doesn't piss off the entire world.
Yeah. Yeah.
She has put her foot in her mouth a couple times. Whether you agree or disagree with her, she knows how to get on people's nerves.
Yeah.
But she's also an incredible actress.
Yeah, and like her Evita that she just did in London, once that transfers to New York, is going to do well.
Yeah. Okay, what else?
Big Fish is one of my favorite musicals of all time.
I've never seen or listened to it. I just know the movie.
I also lucked out in that I got to be a part of a production of that was really well done. I got to be in the Illinois All-State production of that in 2018.
Is that your favorite iteration?
I mean, I would go with the original Broadway production, or I saw it at the Marriott Theater in Lincolnshire a couple of years ago with the small cast edition, which is a slightly different version of the show, with a couple of the alternate songs put in instead of one of the larger group numbers. And I loved that production. I love pretty much anything I've ever seen the Marriott do. I have yet to see a bad production there.
Interesting.
But I love that show. It's got so much heart. It has a couple of the saddest songs, I think, in modern musical theater.
I assume it's based off the movie, yeah?
It's based off the novel that the movie is also based off of.
Oh. Do you like the movie?
I do.
Okay.
I watched the movie and I read the book for both for the first time around the same time as I was starting rehearsals for the musical, which is also how I've gotten to know a couple of people who are doing incredible things with their lives. Joy Woods of Six, The Notebook, Little Shop Off-Broadway revival fame. She was our witch in that production. Okay. So that's how I can be cool with the kids and be like, yeah, I know Broadway star Joy Woods.
Yeah.
Because I did a show with her one time.
All right, 2 more.
All right, this is where it gets harder because those 3 are the easiest ones.
Those are your top 3?
In no particular order with those 3,
yeah.
I would probably consider those some of my top 3 musicals of all time.
Okay.
One, again, that I don't think is done often enough, and I love the score, but I'm not the biggest fan of the book, is, or the script of the show is Little Women. I love that.
The 2009 or something?
2004.
2004, yeah.
Broadway production.
Yeah.
I love that one. I grew up listening to that score all the time. I think it has some of the most lush orchestrations of the late epic era.
It's also such a great concept.
It's so good.
Of how to do Little Women as a musical.
Yes.
If for anybody who doesn't know, this Little Women musical is like taking the stories that Joe wrote and turning them into musical numbers, right?
Yeah. So there's a couple of numbers where the other family members play the story unfolding.
Yeah, it's played by the same actors.
Yeah,
and it's showing Joe's stories come to life, and obviously that's not the whole show. I'm just saying, as the fact that you're doing a musical and you have that opportunity to not chase it would be it was such a genius idea. And also I love that the actor that plays Emma Watson plays the character. It's always the one I forget the name of.
Joe, Amy, Beth,
Meg.
I do have
the character,
to go through all 4
the character that
to
Meg marries. He's like this very reserved, shy.
John Brooks.
John is my favorite character.
Oh,
in Little Women, and the fact that he gets to play the big bad villain for his second character.
Yeah.
I really, it's one of my top characters I want to play in musical theater. Really random. It's just John and this villain guy. I like the idea of, I think because I relate to introversion, and I also find myself being chatty, and it's really confusing for both me and other people, because people will call me an extrovert, and I'm like, but I don't connect to that.
Yeah.
So it's like a 2-sided coin. Is it that little original version that you fell in love with?
Yeah, because that was the cast album I always listened to growing up. I still throw that on in my car every once in a while when I'm like, I need to feel something. I'll start with the overture, it'll hit, and I'll immediately be ready to take on the world.
Yeah. That's cool.
And as I was talking about Little Women, I was able to figure out what number 5 is, which I think is
Rock of Ages.
Never seen or listened to it, actually.
I actually don't know it too well. I've seen the movie. Not my favorite.
I think Ragtime is one of the greatest musicals ever written.
Tell me anything about it.
Oh, okay. Again, this is a show I know all too well. I love the score of. I got to do it when I was the summer after high school, right before I went off to college, I did it with a high school and college age theater group in Schaumburg. I did it with the group's called Schaumburg Summer Theater.
Okay.
I did it with them, and it was it was a great experience, and it's such a powerful story. It is a near turn of the century, early 1900s story that follows 3 different perspectives. It follows the more wealthy white people. It follows an African American community and a group of immigrants.
And where is it?
This is in New York, specifically near New Rochelle.
Okay.
In New York, I want to say it's like 1908.
Gotcha.
Maybe
it's one of those shows that's evaded me my whole life.
It's super powerful. It has one of the greatest musical theater anthems with "Make Them Hear You."
Okay.
Joshua Henry is currently playing Coalhouse Walker Jr. on Broadway and is tearing the house down every single show. Your Daddy's Son
Love Joshua
is one of, I think, the saddest and most powerful ballads of the 90s, which it's full of powerful ballads.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it has these 3 stories interconnected throughout, and like we have this family who the dad goes out on expedition, and as he's going out, he runs across this ship of immigrants coming to the U.S., which has a father and his daughter making their stamp in America for the first time. The wife ends up finding a baby buried in her garden, which is Sarah, who's an African-American woman's baby, and she decides to take her in, and that's...
Wait, the baby's alive?
The baby is still alive. It had just been buried.
Jeez.
It's not a very light show at times. It has a lot of...
When was this written?
This was in, I want to say, 95, 96.
Oh, okay.
The current revival is the second revival it's had in New York. But yeah, and Coalhouse was in a relationship with Sarah. It's their child. Yeah. And that ends up blending all their families together. Coalhouse buys a car to go see her. And there are some people who don't take that all that well in New Rochelle. And so there ends up being conflicts throughout. And it's a really interesting show that goes through so many
big, grand story.
It is. I think it's the best encapsulation of what I call of the epic era of musicals. Yeah. Because so many people, there's the golden age and there's contemporary. I don't think that's enough anymore. I think there are too many phases that have happened.
No, you can't divide it into just
'cause at that point, in traditional sense, it's golden age, and then at hair, it switches to contemporary. And that was 1968. And that's too long ago to still, I think, be considered contemporary musical theater, especially when contemporary musical theater isn't what it was.
Maybe contemporary should be the old word, and we should call everything else postmodern.
Yeah.
Postmodern theater. I did not expect Ragtime to show up today. All right.
Would highly recommend giving that show a listen. Especially there's now the original cast recording with Brian Stokes Mitchell was the original Coalhouse Walker. Maren Maisie was Mother in the production, and her voice, rest in peace, is incredible. But in the newer cast, it's like Cassie Levy and Joshua Henry. Brandon Uranowitz is Tate, who's the immigrant father. There's just so much important things happening in that score, and it's just so good. I love that show.
You didn't name any shows that fall into my top shows, but
okay.
Also I think there's a little bit of unfamiliarity with some of your picks, so it's not like for lack of it's not like a lack of love, but my top shows end up being like Rent, Jagged Little Pill is one of my all-time favorites. Alanis Morissette turned into a jukebox musical. It's incredible. Tick Tick Boom. It's Jonathan Larson's. I'm huge on, and then Les Mis and probably Fiddler.
Fiddler is so good.
That I think the Fiddler film is one of the greatest films ever made.
Yeah.
It's just incredible.
Well, and another movie musical that I think was lauded at the time and has kind of been forgotten since then is, I think Fiddler is an incredible example, but Chicago is also an incredible movie musical.
Yeah, the 2000s Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just watched it for the first time.
Perfect.
And it was really good. I can't believe Richard Gere was doing the singing himself.
Yep.
I was shocked to learn that it was actually him.
Yeah,
I just assumed he was getting dubbed over.
Yeah. No, that was in the era where, for better or for worse, they were letting their male leads sing.
I mean, he's great.
And he was incredible.
Yeah.
And like Pierce Brosnan and Mamma Mia was trying, but Richard Gere was great.
Before we close out for today, I want to talk a little bit more about gruesome playground injuries for just a minute. This is a show that tackles intense subject material. Subject material of self-harm, abuse, internal trauma that's often not explored in the most healthy ways.
Yes.
But not judging it either. Not judging those things, but instead choosing to display them and let it be a conversation.
Yeah.
Where do you see this show like calling to you that you felt this desire to be a part of this kind of process?
Oh, that's a great question. I think it is because it sparks so many important and interesting conversations is the thing that really drew me to the script right off the bat, in that it doesn't present an argument without kind of showing both sides of it. Like with Doug and Kayleen, we kind of see two sides of a similar coin that isn't quite the same, and they're not quite on the same page sometimes, but that doesn't mean that they aren't understanding each other.
Yeah.
And I think that's what is so important, is that because everyone will ever encounter in our lives is dealing with their own trauma and baggage, but we can still understand and work together to try to understand that further and to make it not impact our future in the most detrimental ways. I think is one of the most interesting things that this script kind of tackles, in that in this show we obviously encounter them whenever there's some kind of injury happening, as the title implies, and it happens over so much length of time that it kind of allows them to come into each scene not necessarily as a different person, but with a new perspective on their own past.
Yeah.
And I think that's just so fun to play with as a performer, is getting to see these different sides of a person in just a one act play. We get to see so much depth to each of them throughout ages where so much change happens.
I mean, you're taking a 75-minute show and showing 30 years of life experience. Not just any 30 years either. Like
the I would argue the most formative 30 years
the
of
most
someone's
formative
life.
30 years, age 8 to 38, is a wild amount of changes that characters go through. So being able to tackle each of those. Do you have a favorite era to tackle?
I mean, there's something so fun about getting to play 8 years old again and getting to embrace your inner child.
Yeah.
And I think, and Doug especially is a wild 8-year-old.
Yeah.
But I think there's also something really interesting about getting to tackle 23, which is one of the closest ages to what I am and that I have experienced, because like then there's 28, which I haven't experienced yet. But 23 is the closest to my actual age, and yet I still feel so different because of different life experiences than where Doug is at that point.
Yeah.
And I think that's so interesting, getting to see and having to see a completely different perspective on that time in someone's life. Despite me being so close to it, it's not like I can just be like, oh, well, that's going to be the easiest one because that's just what I'm like now.
Yeah.
Because that's not the case.
I appreciate the show for being like, each era that it explores becomes its own new show.
Yes.
Like when they're 18, it's like suddenly we're watching Euphoria on stage. But when they're 38, we're watching like an Arthur Miller drama. Or when they're 8 years old, we're watching like a kids show.
Yeah.
So we get to explore different vibes, which is a lot of fun for me as a producer, to watch you all explore like the differences between each era. I'm having a blast seeing you all. I don't even feel like this need ever to step in and like I don't know, give any sort of creative direction, really. I've just allowed Jake, our director, Jake Heeline, to just fully embrace this thing, and Jake really connected with the script and fell in love with it. And Lexi, of course, as our Kayleen, Lexi DeWitt, she's incredible, and she was the original person who pitched this production, and seeing this team work together is so much fun.
And since day one, I felt such comfortability in the space with this team. Like, I feel like we've all come in on a really similar page, and it's allowed us to have a lot of fun playing and exploring how these scenes get to impact these different characters at different ages. And there's such I feel such trust with everyone, and I can't wait to get this in front of people.
If only any of us felt the same way towards
Danny.
Dang. No, it's an incredible group. And of course, I can't forget to mention Aaron Liston as our stage manager, and we've got Billy Sager as our tech, as our lighting and sound designer, and it's a wonderful team. Gruesome Playground Injuries performs May 8th through 9th, and then again 15th and 16th at the Black Box Theater in Woodstock, Illinois, at the inside the Woodstock High School. Check out the info in the description of this video. Check out our social media pages. Please follow along the journey. We'll be posting a lot about the process over the course of the next month and a half, and putting on a fantastic little 2-person dramedy.
Yeah.
It's hard to define this
It
show.
really is.
It's dark, and it's also hilarious, and it's also dark.
Yeah.
But it's a joy to watch.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.